Make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020. We can't start working in 2020.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who was your favorite actor?
Humphrey Bogart, no doubt about it. I love all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. Jimmy Cagney would be a close second.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
No celebrity crushes.
Ginger or Marianne?
I always was a Marianne person. Never was bowled over by that Hollywood look. Plus, Ginger was in more revealing attire, scantily clad.
Salty or sweet?
Neither, but if I have to pick, I'll go with sweet.
Movies or TV?
TV.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, although I'd prefer Five Guys.
Facebook or Twitter?
Definitely Twitter. I hate Facebook.
Cake or pie?
I'm a cake guy.
Coke or Pepsi?
Diet Coke.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, obviously.
Winter or summer?
Summer! Good Lord. Why would you want winter? It's cold and it's dark.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
The word that's helping Elizabeth Warren get through her so-so campaign? So.
Will you raise taxes on the middle class to pay for it, yes or no?
So the way I see this, so understand, taxing income is not going to get you where you need to be the way taxing wealth does. So no, and I'm not here to criticize other Democrats. So my proposal is that student loan debt would be canceled up to $50,000. So,
Elizabeth, can you put this issue to bed and tell us whether or not you are, in fact, a member of a minority group?
So, middle-class families.
Why did you list yourself as an American Indian on this Texas bar application?
So, I grew up out in Oklahoma. So, look.
Why did you check those boxes?
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
Joe Biden might be running for president in 2020, so we should play some of his greatest hits.
Barack and I finally reduced the disparity in sentencing, which we've been fighting to eliminate, in crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. Correct. It was a big mistake when it was made. We thought we were told by the experts that crack, you never go back.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. If there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony, put that double-barrel shotgun, and fire 2 blasts. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Give me a break. That's a bunch.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
I happen to be taking it.
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine. A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories.
Research showing potentially dangerous side effects.
The president appears to be brushing aside those concerns, saying it was his idea to take the drug.
Hydroxychloroquine can cause heart arrhythmia, strokes, and things like that.
No evidence that it works to treat this disease.
It can actually make patients sicker and even more likely to die.
It will kill you. I cannot stress enough. This will kill you.
Well, a new hydroxychloroquine study could have all those experts eating their words. Hydroxychloroquine significantly reduced death rates among sick and hospitalized COVID patients.
Well, how do you like that?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
The father of Horace Lorenzo Anderson told us that he still hasn't received a call about his son's death from the mayor of Seattle.
I still ain't heard from the mayor. Incredibly, Donald Trump called me. He gave his condolences on this camera. I tell you right now, Donald Trump called me. And he didn't have to call me. He didn't have to do nothing.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Washington Redskins are undergoing a thorough review of their name. In a statement, the team said recent events around the U.S. and feedback from the community prompted the formal review.
I knew this day would come. Unchained and unstoppable.
I'm going to Mount Rushmore. We're going to have a tremendous evening. It's going to be a fireworks display like few people have seen.
History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome back to the Howie Carr Show, or welcome, depending on whether you're joining us or rejoining us. 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. As you know, the president is winging his way west to South Dakota. He's going to be speaking at Mount Rushmore tonight at 10 o'clock. That's when it's supposed to start, because it's, I guess, mountain time, mountain or central time. I guess mountain time, probably. And meanwhile, his opponent, the Democrat nominee, not officially, but you know who I'm talking about, Joe Biden, he was out there today introducing himself to the crowd, or some kind of a crowd. Let's hear it.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Lily already indicated, I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
Now, it sounds to me like he said, I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Lily already indicated, I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
Oh, he knocked himself out with his own little joke there. He's Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden. Taylor and...
I do think he said Jill Biden, but the way he mumbles and just his demeanor, his folksiness, and the terrible audio, it can all come together to sound like Joe Biden, but I think he said Jill Biden.
So Grace and I think it was Joe Biden, and Taylor and Jared think it was Jill Biden, but...
Good afternoon, everyone. As Lily already indicated, I'm Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden.
The point being, if Joe Biden's husband, Joe Biden, were out there at Mount Rushmore this evening, he'd probably be trying to strike up a conversation with George Washington or Abraham Lincoln.
And wasn't that always like Jack Benny's opening line whenever he went out on stage? He would introduce himself as Mary Livingston's husband.
I don't know. Jack Kennedy, when he went to Paris, he said, I'll always be known as the guy who accompanied Jacqueline Kennedy to Paris. I think that's a traditional line. Anyway, it's time now for the Chump line.
Happy Independence Day. Well, not for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, as Senator Cruz said, they've got to keep this woman alive. It would be the greatest embarrassment ever. Well, maybe the second greatest.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
To the Justice Department after the failed attempt to overthrow the President of the United States these last few years. Incidentally, the South Shore Plaza is in lockdown right now and due to police activity. We don't know what the police activity is, but they're suggesting if you're in that Braintree area, you avoid the South Shore Plaza for the foreseeable future until the lockdown is over. They're telling people inside the mall to stay in the stores. So we'll keep you informed as events unfold.
Taylor, it's Howie. I couldn't care less, and I'm struggling.
Do I sound like I'm struggling? I had some Novocaine earlier today because I had some fillings refilled and I had some bridge work done up at the Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Be able to go out here today?
Absolutely. Not a problem.
You don't think you look drunk or kind of off kilter at all?
I'll be fine.
Okay.
By 3 o'clock.
You will be?
Yeah. I'll be all sobered up. I'm Joe Biden's husband.
I'll be all sobered up.
And this is Joe Biden.
You have any chocolate?
Brought to you today, the Chump Line is by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. And believe it or not, it was actually started by 3 actual brothers, Spencer Walcott Matthews, Noah Merrill Matthews, and Sanford Hills Matthews. They were real people who made real contributions to their community. We're proud to brand our windows with their name.
Howie, isn't that what the Hawaiians call stupid white people?
Aloha.
No, Howie. Well, they call stupid white people Howleys.
Howleys?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Howie. I didn't come here to be made sport of. I thought you were talking about the Aloha shirts. You know, the other thing about the Aloha shirts is it's a good way to, if you have a concealed carry permit, it's a lot easier to conceal it when you have a shirt that's a couple of sizes too big and that you don't tuck in.
Being called a Howley is about the same thing as being called a gringo.
A gringo. Okay. Or a cracker. Can we get rid of the name Ritz Crackers? Many people in Florida are offended by the name Ritz Crackers.
Joe Biden wishing you a happy Dependence Day. If you have any dependents, tell them you love them.
I thought that was going in a different direction involving diapers, adult diapers, but it worked out just fine the way it did.
This just in, Turner Classic Movies to pull Alfred Hitchcock's 1959 classic thriller North by Northwest due to the film's overabundance of Caucasians and its climax taking place on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock's entire cinematic works are nothing but a statement in caucasity.
Howie, Joe Biden calling. Come on, man. Tomorrow we celebrate the 4th of June, where the United States declared independence from France. And President Lincoln went on television and said, we find these truths to be, you know the thing. I mean it.
He hasn't gotten mixed up much with historical dates lately because he hasn't been talking much about history. But let us not forget.
Wasn't it just a few weeks ago he confused D-Day,
the 6th, yeah, and D-Day and Pearl Harbor Day,
and Independence of Delaware.
That's right. Yes, he got them
3
all.
for 1.
Yeah, it was a they talk about he gets into word salads. He also gets into historical date salads.
Howie, does the NFL really think I needed another reason not to watch?
He's referring, of course, to the fact that the first week they're going to have what they call the Black National Anthem. I didn't know there was such a thing as the Black National Anthem, but that's what they're going to have for the first week. Yeah, I know. I don't have too much interest in going to any games. My daughter has access now to Dallas Cowboys tickets, and no, thanks, Charlotte, but I think I'll be passing this year.
Yeah, they used to be the Washington Redskins. Now I hear they're going to be the Washington Lion Dog Face Pony Soldiers.
That's a good one. Or just the what he called Doug McElway a couple of days ago, Lying Dog Faces. That's the short version. Just kind of like if you're in a tabloid, it's Giants beat Skins, not Redskins.
Commemorate Obama and name them the Washington Thin Skins.
Oh, that's a real good one, Thin Skins. There's some other ones involving the words skin as the second syllable of the word, but I don't want to get into that. It's this is a
pigskin.
No, there's another one. Taylor. It came in over the text line. It's actually a pretty good one, but this is a family show.
Is it also something you yell out when you hit a bad golf shot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you got it.
Why doesn't Snyder just say the Boston team was named after a bunch of sunburnt Irishmen? The whole thing would go away.
I don't think so. I don't think that would make it any better at all. I think the best way to go is to talk about William Henry Dietz, the original fake Indian, and say it's the name is a tribute to the current fake Indian in the U.S. Senate, Elizabeth Herring Warren.
Ghislaine was enjoying her ride on top, settling only for the cream of the crop. If trouble came her way, she slithered away. Some might say Maxwell was good until the last stop.
Not bad, Limerick guy. Not bad. There's a story in the Daily Caller today that lists all the people that she's had her picture taken with. It's a pretty impressive list considering she's charged with perjury, sex abuse, et cetera, et cetera. She had her picture taken with both of the Mr. and Mrs. Trump, Mr. and Mrs. Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Michael Bloomberg. The beautiful people, one and all.
This 4th of July, keep your barbecue politically correct. Ban the use of Dixie cups and have a safe holiday.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a PSA on an internet radio station. It really does. At least they're not talking about coronavirus and being sure to wash your hands.
That was your last Chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
Okay, that's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message at any hour of the day or night, including weekends. The Chump Line number, if you'd like to leave such a message, 844-500-4242. That's 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. The Chump Line, you can also check out Chop Chumps. That's the Chump Line messages that didn't make it onto the air. Some of them are better than the messages that did make it onto the air, but we couldn't put them on for assorted reasons, which you can pretty much guess at. Chop Chumps are posted every night at 7 o'clock after the show ends. Get them wherever you get your Howie Carr podcast. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. And believe it or not, it was actually started by 3 actual brothers: Spencer Walcott Matthews, Noah Merrill Matthews, and Sanford Hills Matthews. They were real people who made real contributions to their community. We're proud to brand our windows with their names.
Howie, Joe Biden calling. Come on, man. Tomorrow we celebrate the 4th of June, where the United States declared independence from France. And President Lincoln went on television and said, "We find these truths to be, you know the thing. I mean it."
I'm Howie Carr.
They call him the Trash Man, but we'll call him Captain Howie Carr.
Alexander Hamilton said, "Those who stand for nothing will fall for anything." This is Toby from Cape Gunworks. When our founding fathers drafted the Second Amendment, there was no question of its meaning. Today, if you have questions, come to Cape Gunworks for some advice, training, or
7300. You're listening to Howie, and so is your next customer. Call 800-227-7300 right now.
We all love President Trump's off-the-cuff comments, but he's never in rarer form than when he's speaking at a rally. Take a listen.
I hit Pocahontas way too early. I thought she was gone. She's emerged from the ashes. And now it looks like she could beat Sleepy Joe. He's fallen asleep. He has no idea what the hell he's doing or saying. I don't know. I'm not a vain person. But I look better under an incandescent light than these crazy lights that are beaming down on. That guy's got a serious weight problem. Go home, start exercising. Got a bigger problem than I do. Now he goes home and his mom says, "What the hell have you just done?" How do you top that? I'm just ready, the big, beautiful crescendo, and this character's going back home. One person just going home to mommy a little bit sooner. Ah, these are phony people, but that's okay. You know, when you think of it, I'm president, and they're not. You really have to elect me. Whether you like me or not, it makes no difference, because our country will go to hell if any of these people get in.
We all shop online, and now you could do it a better way with Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. Just download Honey to your computer and shop on all your favorite websites like normal. When you check out, just click the Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey works on nearly every online store, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, Etsy, and more. And Honey has found over $2 billion in savings for its users. That's why it has wanted to get everything in there. Now there's other stuff I could write about, but I'm Kennedy'd out.
Since having the sleeve operation, do you miss not eating big meals?
No, I don't. I can still eat what I used to eat. I just can't eat as much. I'm now very surprised how much I used to eat. I'm surprised at how much people I eat with consume. It's just hard to believe that I used to eat that much. But no, it's not a problem.
How is Mr. Gooner since Pearl's passing?
Mr. Gooner is drowning his sorrows in food.
What is the most trouble you ever got into as a kid?
My father was giving me grief one time up at Moosehead Lake in Maine, and I threw a rock at him. He didn't much like that.
This is Alex from East Bridgewater, Mass.
This is Ann in Saco, Maine.
This is John Zuko from Hanson, Mass. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
Channel 7 is reporting that sources tell them that shots have been fired at the Braintree Mall and the South Shore Plaza, the mall in Braintree, which is the South Shore Plaza. And the stores are in lockdown. Police are advising anyone inside the mall to stay in the stores. It's an active situation. They're advising people to stay away. Don't come if you're planning to drive to the obvious reasons until further notice. We'll keep you informed as we learn more. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company that I trust.
Banner followed by God Bless America with 26%, America the Beautiful at 14%, and God Bless the USA at 10%.
I want to read you something from perhaps my favorite president from Massachusetts, Calvin Coolidge. This was the speech he delivered on the 150th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. That means it was July 4th, 1926. The Declaration of Independence is the product of the spiritual insight of the people. We live in an age of science and of abounding accumulation of material things. These did not create our Declaration. Our Declaration created them. The things of the Spirit come first. Unless we cling to that, all our material prosperity, overwhelming though it may appear, will turn into a barren scepter in our grasp. If we are to maintain the great heritage which has been bequeathed to us, we must be like-minded as the fathers who created it. This is Calvin Coolidge, July 4th, 1926. We must not sink into a pagan materialism. We must cultivate the reverence which they had for the things that are holy. We must follow the spiritual and moral leadership which they showed. We must keep replenished that they may glow with a more compelling flame, the altar fires before which they worshipped. It's very good. Well, I'll read you a couple more of excerpts from Calvin. Whether you're working from home or working on your fitness, you want what you're listening to be what you're listening to, not what your roommates or family are listening to. Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycons start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was co-founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
You are known as a cheap bastard. Which one of your daughters is the cheapest and why?
Charlotte is the cheapest, and I say that because she's always using my credit card. We keep changing the credit cards over and over again, and she keeps busting in and using them again. Most recently, just this week, she spent $75 at AT&T.
What's the cheapest thing you do now to save money?
The cheapest thing I do currently to save money, I guess, is cans back to the market basket every weekend. I always like to save that money. You know, I can't stand about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Did you have any pets when you were younger?
I had a cat named Dexter. That was my first pet. And then I had possession of 2 poodles when I lived in Palm Beach, Princess and Frisky. They weren't really my dogs, but I took care of them. They lived with me. So they were my dogs. I loved those poodles.
When you were a kid, what was the best gift you ever received?
I got this wooden fort from FAO Schwartz in Palm Beach, about the age of 6 or 7, 10 soldiers to go along with it. Such a cool fort. I had that fort for like maybe close to 10 years.
What is your all-time favorite movie?
Probably Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. I love it even more than The Godfather.
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably chocolate ice cream, followed by vanilla ice cream, followed by coffee ice cream.
Here's 1 minute of President.
For a serial offender like him to be running around unsupervised.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
So, there's a lockdown at the South Shore Plaza in Braintree, and there's an active situation, and they've told everybody who's in the mall to get inside a store. I guess they're locking down the stores, and for anyone who's planning to go down or is in the area, stay away from the South Shore Plaza in Braintree.
I'm reading different reports on Twitter about what happened, but I can't really verify them quite yet. So,
right, but Channel 7 is reporting that shots have been fired inside the South Shore Plaza. We're hearing the names of the stores and that kind of stuff, but we're not going to report anything till it's more confirmed. All right. 208 says, my stepmother is full-blooded Indian. She cheered for the Redskins. Also, the tribes were not peace-loving farmers. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. But, my understanding was that when they've done polls on this in the past, most Native Americans were against getting rid of the name Redskins.
Well, you could say this about a lot of things. I'd be interested to see polls about the statues that are being torn down, supposedly to honor Black Lives Matter. I'm sure if you asked a lot of black people, they would say...
Well, like Robin Ugly Guy, he has these vacant Joe Biden-type eyes. And so he tweeted out this afternoon, he said, can you imagine they're going after a crippled 25-year-old activist? So he was an Antifa terrorist yesterday. Now he's under arrest, and he's become a victim. A crippled 25-year-old activist.
Literally crippled?
That's what he said. That's what he said. I'm just...
Or is his activism crippled? Is that what they meant?
Crippled 25-year-old activist. That's how he described himself.
Okay.
He's throwing himself on the mercy of the court of public opinion right now before he throws himself on the mercy of the court, period. All right, now it's time for Police Blotter Facts Friday.
Whenever the laws of any
state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action.
All right, you know how Police Blotter Facts Friday works. All week long, we ask you to send in your funny stories or items from your local daily or weekly newspaper, stuff about the police, and it has to be kind of humorous. That's all we ask. You can send your items to grace@howiecarrshow.com, grace@howiecarrshow.com, a police-related story or item from one of the police columns in the local daily or weekly. Or you can fax them to us. We still have a fax number, 857-284-8864, 857-284-8864. And at this time, each Friday evening, the chief of the Department of Public Works. You know why?
How dare you? Why is that?
Because Duluth has done away with chiefs.
Oh, that is true.
Don't you remember that, Grace? You got to stay up with the PC woke mob development.
That's your job, Howie. You're the woke guy around here. A naked man was rescued from a sewer in downtown Duluth on Thursday. Officials in the northern Minnesota city said first responders pulled the man to safety around 5 o'clock p.m. It was not clear why the man was naked or why he was in the sewer.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was intoxicated.
Well, we don't want to jump to conclusions about the naked man found in the sewer at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Petty thief fled supermarket, forgot his son. This is out of Berlin, Germany.
Berlin, Germany.
Yes.
How dare they call him a petty thief?
Well, this is what happened.
I mean, in his own mind, he was an essential thief.
I think it was more based off the amount he stole. The 29-year-old suspect ran off with €5 worth of goods when he was trying to steal €5 worth of goods. He triggered an alarm at the supermarket and he fled, but police say the man's 8-year-old son was left behind, so the culprit was quickly identified. They just said, "What's your dad's name?" I'm guessing. And he ratted him out. He was not a stand-up guy, that 8-year-old. He would have never made it in the mob, let me tell you, Howie.
My father's name is Hans Petty.
Behind bars Monday morning after a nasty spat with her roommate over illegal narcotics.
Wait, was it her roommate or her gal pal? They're sending us mixed messages here, Grace.
I think there's mixed messages all over this story because according to 45-year-old Tasha K. Galvin Cervantes, she claimed that her roommate had consumed illegal narcotics, which she said she didn't agree with. She said she told her roommate on Sunday night to provide her with a urine sample or move out. She added that she reminded the woman again on Monday and threatened to call...
Urine sample? What is this? What is the NFL trailer park?
That's what I'm confused about because one woman is saying she was doing drugs, I wanted a urine sample, and the other woman says she's mentally unstable. She came into my room demanding urine. So it's kind of like two sides to every story, ladies. I don't know what to tell you.
Let me see. Oh, one of them's wearing a bandage over her head. What happened there, Grace? You didn't finish reading the story.
Okay, so Galvin Cervantes said the woman became upset with her and told her she wasn't leaving because that's where she lives. So she said, if you don't give me the urine sample, I'm going to kick you out.
I'm not leaving the double wide.
I'm not giving you my urine sample and I'm not leaving. She claimed the woman knocked her phone out of her hand and it flew across the room. Galvin Cervantes said she told the woman not to touch her belongings and pushed her. She said the woman then struck her in the left eye.
There it is. There's the
closed fist.
And then at that point, Galvin Cervantes called 911 and told her, "You're in big trouble."
Oh, very good, Howie.
That came off the text line.
I'm peeved. Get it, P?
Ha, 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 ha.
Noticed an aroma of alcohol on him as well as having slurred speech like Howie had in his video today when he got his tooth out.
And you can see that, by the way, at HowieCarrshow.com.
I'm going to be completely sobered up.
When the police made contact with him, he said that he had defecated himself. So if nothing else, he was very forthcoming with information.
Do you really think he said, "I just defecated myself," Grace? Or do you think that was a paraphrase of what he said?
I think he probably said something that is not fit for the radio. Woman 72 gored multiple times by bison after getting too close taking pictures.
Oh. Incidentally, there's an update from Braintree. One person shot at South Shore Plaza, and the police are seeking they called him a suspect. I thought they used to use the word person of interest now. That's the phrase they usually use.
So, Howie, this woman was gored multiple times by a bison in Yellowstone National Park after trying to get a close-up of the picture. So this is where it's interesting. According to the people at Yellowstone, when a bison is upset at you, they will do a multitude of aggressive behavioral things.
I got my pen out. I'm going to write these down.
Because you know how I am about animals. I like to know how to react in these situations. They will start pawing the ground, snorting, bobbing their heads, bellowing, and raising their tails.
I can't do that.
So this woman saw all this.
Spring, and she just wanted to get out. And
she didn't see the turtle's nostrils flaring.
Yeah, she went like this and it went.
You know, we have on my list today of the great songs of the 4th of July is Back in the USA by Chuck Berry. But you know what his only song that he ever made number one on the charts was, Taylor, right?
My Ding-a-Ling.
Right. And why did I bring up My Ding-a-Ling?
I don't know.
Because there's some snapping turtles in that song.
Oh gosh. Yes. Oh, boy. Man with machete tattoo on his face accused of machete attack. And it's so full circle like that, isn't it? It's meta, art imitating life. A man with an apparent machete tattoo on his face was
machete instead of meta.
Oh, machete. Was accused in a machete attack.
I saw his mugshot, and it doesn't look like an apparent machete. It looks like a machete, period.
I didn't know if that meant, because I don't have the mugshot here, I didn't know if that meant it was just bad artistry, like if it was a blob.
It's actually pretty good.
Oh, it was? Okay. This took place in central Florida's Gulf Coast. The adult male was taken to the hospital, and he will survive, but he cannot use his left hand. The man who was arrested, Justin Arthur Allen Couch.
Four names.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of the story.
Wow.
I just wanted to say his name. Justin
Any hyphens?
Arthur Allen Couch. No hyphens.
Wow.
He may soon be doing an op-ed piece for the New York Times.
He doesn't have a middle
four
name.
Names.
Arthur Allen.
Does he have a middle name, or are those two middle names?
See, his name should have been Chester Allen Arthur. Wasn't he a president of the United States? Chester Allen.
I believe so.
His name should have been Justin Arthur Shakespeare Allen Couch.
What happened to no technician or salesperson to come in and disrupt your house? You don't need to pay any outrageous monthly fees or sign a 2-year contract. Grace is very happy with her Simply Safe
I
system.
love my Simply Safe. I sleep so much better. I feel so much safer. As you guys can tell, I read a lot of scary stories during my job. So having a home that is protected is just the best feeling.
Simply Safe was named Best Overall Home Security of 2020 by U.S. News and World Report, and their 24/7 professional monitoring and emergency dispatch starts at just 50 cents per day. Head to simplysafehowie.com and get a free shipping and a free 60-day money-back guarantee. That's simplysafehowie.com, simplysafehowie.com, to make sure they know that our show sent you. I'm Howie Carr.
He's New England's talk radio king. He's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Folensby Inn of North Sutton, New Hampshire. Just 90 minutes from Boston on the shores of pristine Kezar Lake. Perfect for year-round relaxation. Book your stay at folensbyinn.com.
He's the gaffe that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts.
I get in trouble with some of the things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn, that.
Simply Safe has made it easy to finally get comprehensive protection for your home. There's no technician or salesperson that needs to come and disrupt your house. You don't need to pay any outrageous monthly fees or sign a 2-year contract. You just order online, set it up yourself in under an hour, and your home is protected 24/7 with emergency dispatch for break-ins, fire, and more. all for just 50 cents a day. And we're not the only fans of Simply Safe. U.S. News and World Report named Simply Safe Best Overall Home Security of 2020. Go to simplysafehowie.com to try it out for yourself. That's simplysafehowie.com to make sure they know that our show sent you. That's simplysafehowie.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
So now you've broken your elbow. Have you ever broken any other bones?
When I was 8 years old, I broke my leg. I was playing touch football in Portland, and a big kid, a 15-year-old, tackled me. When I was in my 30s, I was going down the stairs, and one of the kids' toys was on the stairs, and I tripped on it and broke my foot. I lost a tooth playing touch football when I was just out of Deerfield. I got smacked in the jaw. My tooth went up, and I still have a bridge, a crown from that mishap. I have a replacement hip, and now I have a bunch of pins in my left elbow.
When do you plan to retire?
I don't plan on retiring. As an old football coach once said, once you retire, there's only one big moment left. You know what that is. And so there's been one person shot, and they're searching for at least one suspect, the SWAT team and assorted other local constabulary. We'll keep you informed as we go by. But Grace, back to Police Blotter Facts Friday.
Okay, I have my two winners, but first I want to let everyone know Police Blotter Facts Friday is brought to you by Piantadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. You guys know Joe Piantadosi. He's the absolute best, and his bread is terrific. Make sure you check them out at all your local markets. Pizzeria gets popped by police.
Is this Chicopee?
No,
were they giving
Arkansas.
beers out to some of the good old boys? No? Arkansas.
An Arkansas man shot out the front window of a Little Rock pizzeria after arguing with an employee about the toppings on his pie that he ordered. Michael Brown got into this altercation at the Pie 5 restaurant. And they give specifics, which is why I like this story.
Good.
Okay. He became upset. His female acquaintance, his gal pal, you might say, placed an order. Brown became upset about the portion size of the order.
I said extra iguana.
Specifically, Brown thought he was shorted on his pizza's toppings.
Well, of course, that's where you get shorted. Not many people order extra cheese or extra oil.
A further description of which is not contained in court records. When Brown asked to speak with the manager, the woman called her supervisor and handed the phone to Brown. Brown subsequently threw the phone at the woman, striking her on the...
Say he didn't do that. He would do something.
With the sirens on for about 15 miles. Dawson Cody Porter was arrested after the joyride on Saturday. He used a piece of wood to bust through a window of the King Salmon fire station in Eagle River. He then got behind the wheel of a truck, hit the sirens, bursting through the station store.
See, this time of year in Alaska, you can't wait till it gets dark to go to the bar, because it doesn't get dark.
It's so true. Thanks, Piantadosi.
I'm Howie Carr.
These days, a lot of companies are busier than a set of jumper cables at a West Virginia wedding trying to improve their brands. Brand names we've known and loved for years are vanishing before our very eyes. And while we can no longer visit the International House of Burgers, we can take comfort in knowing that the great Matthews Brothers brands won't change. That's because our wicked awesome windows and doors were named for real people. For example, our Walcott brand is named after the oldest founding brother of the company. Spencer Walcott Matthews began studying his craft at the age of 21. When he was 25 years old, he was joined by his brother Noah, then his brother Sanford, and founded the Matthews Brothers Company. Spencer Walcott was obsessed with quality, and he personally inspected every piece that left our factory those first crucial years. For 35 years, he stood at the helm of the company as we gained a reputation second to none for quality, consistency, and reliability. This is what Spencer Walcott Matthews stood for, and it's why we named our premier window line after him. You can learn more about our wicked awesome Maine-made windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Preferred, oldest window manufacturer.
Of Hate, Howie Carr.
We went to the White House for the Christmas party. In your opinion, what was the highlight?
The highlight of my trip to the White House with Grace, there were two. Number one, when we walked into Trump International Hotel, which she'd been dreaming of going to, and her eyes were wide. And then when the president actually came down the stairs, her eyes were even wider. She was so in awe of being there. I really felt like King Farouk, you know? I felt like I was giving someone a really great gift that they couldn't get otherwise.
You've had some really good interviews over the years. Which one was your favorite?
I can't really say what the best interview I ever had, but one that just occurred to me was Jesse Helms, the senator from North Carolina. I interviewed him one time, and he went to high school with my mother in Monroe, North Carolina. And the first words out of his mouth were,
patroning Chinese restaurants. They're not patroning Asian restaurants because of just straight up racism around the coronavirus. So,
only in America does the president, when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work? When we, have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say, no, we're not going back to that.
I know it sounds banal. Do we know how long puppies are allowed to stay with their mothers after a dog has given birth?
I don't.
8 weeks. Wow. So the market has decided that women and people who give birth deserve less time with their children than a dog.
So the whole premise of the Green New Deal is that we're screwed.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day. Once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole.
Well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts,
I get in trouble some of the things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate.
A younger brother.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Well, all kinds of history. I loved all kinds of history.
If you could have 3 houses, besides the ones you already have, anywhere in the world, where would they be?
I wouldn't mind having another house in Palm Beach on Clark Avenue. Maybe a place in southern Maine. I don't need a third place.
Didn't you already have a house in Maine?
I did. It was on an island. It was not a good fit for the mailroom manager.
I've heard the house was haunted. Is that true?
Yes. And my wife didn't really care that much for my relatives.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Thank you, New England, for supporting Music Drives Us. Since 2006, we have used the power of music to benefit communities throughout the 6 states of New England. During this time, we've proudly supported more than 200 schools and donated upwards of 1,000 instruments. And this year, we're getting ready to donate all over again. Our work is made possible through your continued support of our musical mission. Whether you donated, volunteered at our events, attended, thank you. We hope you'll stay tuned with what we have in store for this year, because it'll be our best year yet. Visit us at musicdrivesus.org. That's musicdrivesus.org. Or follow us at Music Drives Us on social. Together, we can keep music in our schools.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
How did you come up with the name VB?
My first producer and I both had steady girlfriends, or we were married or whatever. And VB was always saying that we were whipped, if you know what I mean. Finally, I said, you don't even have a girlfriend. I've never seen you with a female. As a matter of fact, I don't think you have ever had sex. You are just a virgin boy.
What is your biggest fear?
That Donald Trump will not be reelected in 2020, and that some horrible Democrat will come in and finish off the destruction of this.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
I happen to be taking it. I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine. A couple of weeks ago, started taking it because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories.
Research showing potentially dangerous side effects.
The president appears to be brushing aside those concerns, saying it was his idea to take the drug.
Hydroxychloroquine can cause heart arrhythmia, strokes, and things like that.
No evidence that it works to treat this disease.
It can actually make patients sicker and even more likely to die.
It will kill you. I cannot stress enough. This will kill you.
Well, a new hydroxychloroquine study could have all those experts eating their words. Hydroxychloroquine significantly reduced death rates among sick and hospitalized COVID patients.
Well, how do you like that?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
The father of Horace Lorenzo Anderson told us that he still hasn't received a call about his son's death from the mayor of Seattle.
I still ain't heard from the mayor. Incredibly, Donald Trump called me. He gave his condolences on this camera. I tell you right now, Donald Trump called me. And he didn't have to call me. He didn't have to do nothing.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
Washington Redskins are undergoing a thorough review of their name. In a statement, the team said recent events around the U.S. and feedback from the community prompted the formal review.
I knew this day would come. Unchained and unstoppable.
I'm going to Mount Rushmore. We're going to have a tremendous evening. It's going to be a fireworks display like few people have seen.
History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. Shooting this afternoon at the South Shore Plaza in Braintree. And they're now saying that the Braintree police are saying the suspect has left the mall, and that the surrounding neighborhoods are being told to shelter in place. I guess they figure this guy's on foot. Seems like a strange way to flee. And they appear, the Massachusetts State Police are saying that it's believed to be a targeted shooting, not an active shooter or a terrorist event. So maybe it wasn't they're conflicting stories as there always are in these matters. 844-500-4242. Happy Independence Day. The president will be speaking tonight from Mount Rushmore in South Dakota at around 10 o'clock. It's going to be the biggest fireworks display ever. I guess he hasn't been paying close attention to what's been going on in his former hometown of New York and most of the large cities of America. There's been a lot of fireworks. They're even talking about increasing the penalties for in the city of Boston for shooting off unlicensed fireworks, which seems kind of odd considering they were kind of looking the other way, a month ago, for when there was looting and arson going on, and police were actually being shot at on Tremont Street, and everybody was kind of looking the other way, as you may recall. 844-500-4242. It's been quite a violent time in Boston and the surrounding suburbs. There've been, in the last 48 hours, 3 people have been shot to death in Boston, including a 15-year-old kid. And a guy was chased down the street in Mattapan, I guess last night, a 22-year-old. It was a fight. He was killed over a fight over a scooter. 844-500-4242. I have a few cards that one of the listeners from Marlborough sent me, and these are statements that were made by Calvin Coolidge. I read you earlier the statement that Calvin Coolidge made on the 150th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, which would be in 1926. And here's another statement that these are excerpts from speeches. They seem appropriate for the 4th of July, for Independence Day. This is from 1922 when he was vice president, speaking on the Great Virginians, some of whom are now having their statues torn down, even in the Old Dominion itself. The world today is filled with a great impatience, said Calvin Coolidge. Men are disdainful of the things that are and are credulously turning towards those who assert that a change of institutions would somehow bring about an era of perfection. It is not that a change is needed in our Constitution and laws so much as there is a need of living in accordance with them. It is not our institutions that have failed. It is our execution of them that has failed. There have been criticisms which are merited. There have always been, and there always will be. But the life of the nation is dependent not on criticisms, but on construction. Not on tearing down, but on building up. Not in destroying, but in persevering. I'm telling you, Calvin Coolidge, very underrated. Very underrated. Tom, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, Howie. Happy 4th of July.
Same to you, Tom.
Yeah, long time listener, going back to the 80s when you were with Jerry Williams and Barbara Anderson. Rest in peace, both of them. Hey, you know, what is happening in this country now, which I'm sure most listeners are aware of, this is cultural Marxism. And if you look on the Black Lives Matter webpage, they clearly state that as far as Western civilization, patriarchy, they more or less just want to get rid of that. And this is part of this whole rethink society movement.
Right. No, we've been playing a cut today from a guy named Marcellus Wiley. He's a sports talk show host on ESPN, and he's a 46-year-old black man. And he says they want to, in their own, as you say, their manifesto. They say they want to destroy the nuclear family. And he says, what the hell is that all about? He's trying to create a nuclear family, and he says the absence of a nuclear family has been one of the things that has been setting the black community back so much for the last 50 years. You're absolutely right about that, Tom. Go ahead.
Right. And, you know, I lived in Mission Hill in the 80s in Boston up to the early 90s. And I had the pleasure of having neighbors that were from Cambodia, some people that I knew from Vietnam that went through communism. And one of the things that struck me with the Cambodian family was there were literally children turning in their parents because the Khmer Rouge was telling people that you are part of the state now. The family no longer exists, and if your parents say anything bad, you need to turn them in. And that happened with the Soviet Union. It happened with East Germany. And at some point, you know, we have the American news media is being so irresponsible. Granted, they hate Donald Trump. Fine. But they can't be that stupid to realize that what these people are asking for is an overthrow of this country and its system of government as well as its economy. We'll all end up living like they did in East Germany, where you got 6 families to a floor sharing one common bathroom.
I know you mentioned the Cambodians and the Khmer Rouge when they took over after as the Americans pulled out of Vietnam in the mid-'70s. They declared that history was starting over again, and they were in year 1. And that's sort of what tearing down all these statues is about, and erasing Western culture, as they call it. Let's play the Marcellus Wiley cut again. This again. He's a talk show host for ESPN, and he was talking about Black Lives Matter, and he's just he's opposed, by the way, to putting BLM on the NBA floors. On the courts when the season resumes or the new season starts, if there is no completion of this past season. And he's just saying that I want to play the cut of him talking about trying to raise a nuclear family. Cut 4.
I don't know how many people really look into the mission statement of Black Lives Matter, but I did. And when you look into it, there's a couple things that jump out to me. And I'm a black man who's been black, and my life has mattered since 1974. And this organization was founded in 2013. I'm proud of you. But I've been fighting this fight for me and for others a lot longer. 2 things. My family structure is so vital, important to me. Not only the one I grew up in, but the one I'm trying to create right now. Being a father and a husband, that's my mission in life right now. How do I reconcile that, what I just told you, with this mission statement that says, quote, we dismantle the patriarchal practice. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement.
I mean, that's suicide for any society. It's like Calvin Coolidge said. You have to have a faith, and you have to have certain standards. And they just want to create anarchy, and anarchy never lasts. Anarchy always leads to a strong man emerging, and call it authoritarianism, totalitarianism. But one thing you don't call it is a nation of laws. And if you don't have a nation of laws, the only alternative is a nation of men, and the men are going to be strong, and they're going to be the people with guns. And they're going to be the people who aren't going to read you your Miranda rights. 844. Jason, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jason.
Hi, Howie. Happy 4th.
Thanks. Same to you, Jason.
I'm a serviceman. I retired from the military a couple of years ago. I got a little TBI, so I just wrote down what I wanted to say. And if you let me just read it real quick.
Go ahead.
It's not long. I appreciate it, so I don't detract. So it's pretty much why white people want to join BLM, and I believe it's because they're trying to atone for this guilt, this imaginary guilt that they have, their insecurity or identity crisis. They should be glad that they weren't born in a crime-infested or neighborhood or under poor conditions. Instead, being grateful because I was a poor kid. I grew up in Waterbury, Connecticut, in a little town called Brooklyn along Route 8, and we didn't have anything. We were poor. But, not one of us kids didn't wish we were born in different circumstances, and I wouldn't be sorry for that if I was. I just feel like America's what you want it to be, I went in the military, I served 2 tours in Iraq, and, I went through a lot, but I came home from the service, I built a life, and I bought a house on Martha's Vineyard so I could be next to my mother. God bless the liberal woman.
Well, congratulations, Jason, and thank you for your service, and happy Independence Day. And it's just we just all got to get through this together, and we can't take our eyes off the prize, and the prize is the Constitution and the society that we've inherited from our forebears. Thank you, Jason. With 2020 as crazy as it's been, you really start to appreciate the little things. I know I haven't talked about ButcherBox in a while, but my monthly delivery of meat is a convenience I look forward to. It's one less thing I need to worry about, especially when going to the grocery store can be such a hassle. Who wants to put on a mask to go inside? Who wants to maybe even wait in a line? Who wants to social distance even when you're standing in line to check out? You don't have to worry about any of that with ButcherBox. You just order and you get the best meat available. We're going to have a nice cookout this weekend. I'm going to use some of the ground sirloin that comes in my monthly pack, and I'm going to have some of the filet mignon, and it's great. I'm having chicken tonight, chicken tenders with some Uncle Ben's converted rice. It's great. ButcherBox, it's going to make you happy when you see that box on your front steps or in your driveway when you subscribe to ButcherBox. ButcherBox makes accessing high-quality meat easier and more affordable than ever. They source their meat from farms with the best practices, ensuring the meat you get was humanely raised without antibiotics or added hormones ever. From free-range organic chicken to heritage breed pork, 100% grass-fed and grass-finished beef, to fresh-caught seafood like salmon and scallops, ButcherBox has over 20 different cuts of meat for you to choose from, and their boxes ship fresh right to your door. And their website is loaded with awesome recipes that the whole family will love. Sign up for ButcherBox today at butcherbox.com/Howie. You'll be glad you did. That's butcherbox.com/Howie, butcherbox.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
You're tuned into the Howie Carr Radio Network.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Moby Dick's on Route 6 in Wellfleet. Don't let the lines deter you. It's worth the wait. From seafood gumbo to lobster rolls, Moby Dick's has it all.
Cory Booker said it best.
There are definitely moments where you listen to Joe Biden and you just wonder.
Here's stumbling and mumbling Joe Biden.
David Duke, the former leader of the KKK.
The Ku Klux Klan is the Ku Klux Klan.
8 more years of Donald Trump will change America in a fundamental way.
But if Donald Trump is reelected, Freudian slip, and the demagogues around the world.
We also have a mechanism to control drug prices. Folks at the folks at Health and the Health Department in the United States, HHS.
It would put 720 million women back in the workforce.
I never ever thought that I'd see what I saw in Charlotte.
Would you or would you not rejoin the TPP, yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TTP. Well, they're going out and getting G5 and going to dominate. I mean, what are we doing?
The bills that the future president here, that the senator is talking about.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
It's time for Quarantine Questions. You're up, Jared. What have you been eating the most during this quarantine?
I've been eating a lot of Indian food because that's all that's in the machine downstairs, and I'm really growing to like it.
What is your drink of choice during the lockdown?
My drink of choice, I'm definitely a Scotch guy. A nice Dewar's really does it for me.
What about a non-alcoholic drink?
Coffee.
What one TV show would you recommend to people who are quarantining right now?
One show? Star Trek The Next Generation. You can't go wrong. It's got everything you want. It's got high-concept science fiction. It's got humanity. It's got great characters. It's the last truly great television show.
What is the biggest pet peeve about being at home?
I can see all the dirt that I don't clean, and it mocks me.
What is the biggest silver lining of staying at home?
I'd say wearing sweatpants, but I do that most of the time anyway. I'll say wearing my Spider-Man costume and not being judged.
What's one book you're loving right now?
I'm a big comic book guy, so I'm reading a lot of comic books. Right now, I'm going back over the classic Stan Lee, Steve Ditko Amazing Spider-Man run, about the first 40 issues.
This is Mark in Williston, Vermont.
This is Marie in Somerville, Massachusetts.
This is Mike from South Attleboro, Mass. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. Look at the pictures on TV and on the websites of the situation down at the South Shore Plaza. The suspect appears to have fled into one of the nearby residential areas, and so the problem seems to be under control at the mall. But I'm looking at the photographs, and I see a lot of Braintree police. I see a lot of Mass state troopers. I don't see any social workers. Where are the social workers on scene? 844-500-4242. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company that I trust. Give them a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. That number again, 800-912-2300. Taylor took a slide, so Jared is on the board. Jared, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which is the most patriotic song? God Bless America, God Bless the USA, America the Beautiful, Back in the USA, or the Star-Spangled Banner?
Tell me Back in the USA has gone up to 3%.
It has not.
It's
holding steady at 2%.
Okay.
Back in the USA. Star-Spangled Banner is in the lead at 50%.
It's pulling away from
it is.
Back in the USA. Okay, and what's number two?
Number two is God Bless America at 25%. America the Beautiful is at 13%, and God Bless the USA is at 10%.
All right. Lyndon Johnson once said after the Tet Offensive, when you've lost Walter Cronkite, you've lost America, the old CBS anchor man. I think the panic porn purveyors, they may have lost America, because I'm reading a headline, NPR, mounting evidence suggests COVID is not as deadly as thought. You don't say. It took them this long to figure this out? Who would have ever thought this?
Was that mounting or mountain of evidence?
Mounting evidence. I got a lot to read here about the coronavirus in this next half hour, the last half hour of the week before our Independence Day weekend. And but we'll take some calls, 844-500-4242. Here's some wise words from C.S. Lewis in 1948, the essayist. Do not let us begin by exaggerating the novelty of our situation. This was on living in an atomic age, but it applies here too. Believe me, dear sir or madam, you and all whom you love were already sentenced to death before the atomic bomb was invented, and quite a high percentage of us were going to die in unpleasant ways. Death itself is not a chance at all, but a certainty. That is the first point to be made. And the first action to be taken is to pull ourselves together. If we are all going to be destroyed by a virus, he said, atom bomb, let that virus, when it comes, find us doing sensible and human things. Praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting to our friends over a pint in a game of darts. Not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about viruses. They may break our bodies, a microbe can do that, but they need not dominate our minds. Are you listening, Tal Duvall? I'm Howie Carr. What's the number one sign of a bad home security system? A home security system that's so complicated you never use it. This is exactly the type of security system SimpliSafe has spent a decade fighting against. They believe that simple is safer. SimpliSafe was designed to be easy to use while protecting your whole home 24/7. Order online with the click of a button. Open the box, place the sensors, plug it in, and your home is protected around the clock.
And Howie, I just want to say, as someone who just bought a new house, that a lot of people won't be coming to your house anytime soon because of the new rules set in place for quarantine. So SimpliSafe is awesome because it is easy. You can do it all yourself. You do not need to be an electrician, or you don't need to even be really good with technology.
SimpliSafe was named Best Overall Home Security of 2020 by U.S. News and World Report, and their 24/7 professional monitoring and emergency dispatch starts at just 50 cents a day. Head to simplysafehowie.com and get free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's simplysafehowie.com to make sure they know that our show sent you.
Howie says it all the time. When it comes to bad politicians, Massachusetts takes the cake.
It is my honor to introduce to you your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick.
And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge.
Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
The very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
If Mr. Gooner was a person, what college would she attend?
The U.S. Coast Guard Academy.
Is Mr. Gooner a conservative or a Democrat?
Mr. Gooner is a fiscal conservative and a social liberal.
If you could have dinner with any president, dead or alive, who would it be?
Calvin Coolidge. He was from Massachusetts, and I liked his attitude towards public sector unions, and he said the business of America is business. He's my guy.
Other than yourself, which columnist do you respect the most?
The late George Fraser. He was a columnist for the Boston Herald, the Boston Globe. Most people have forgotten him now. Jimmy Cannon was pretty good. He was so good that Mike Barnacle used to steal stuff from him all the time. Breslin was good in his early days, not so good later on, but when he was working for the Herald Tribune back when I was a kid in New York, he was damn good.
They're outlandish, they're outrageous, and they're hypocrites. They're the women of The View.
Bernie was so menschy in that moment, like a real guy. I actually am aroused by him.
Timothy McVeigh was a Christian. Just saying. Hitler was a Christian. Well, he didn't like the Catholics.
Trump needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he is going to just kill all of us.
I mean, do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman.
Did you have tanning lotion on?
I had makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin.
I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor.
Whoopi, you said that Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape.
I know it wasn't rape.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape.
Oh, no.
live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
We're going to tweet out that little part of an essay by C.S. Lewis. It's really a good thing to read and reflect on this eve of Independence Day. Incidentally, the Howie Carr VIP experience is back. You get to be part of the live studio audience for the show for the whole 4 hours, along with other deplorables. You also get to meet Grace and Taylor and Jared, have a delicious spread from a local meal, from a local restaurant, I should say. And, of course, meet me. That's the real reason you're coming. It's okay. We all know it. Thanks to Charlie Parker. Masks are required to enter the building, but once in the studio, it's free America. It's like South Dakota and Mount Rushmore. No masks required. No fireworks, but no masks required. It's the Howie Carr VIP experience at a reduced price. Go to HowieCarrShow.com, click on the banner, and as Bob Barker would say, come on down. And we've cut the number of people we have every day. It's 3 days a week, and there are only going to be 6 people, so the tickets are moving fast. So get on board now, HowieCarrShow.com. Click on store, and you can get your VIP tickets. Here's another appropriate quote from the past. This is from 1984 by George Orwell, and you heard Tom was talking about how the Cambodian immigrants or the Cambodian kids after the Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot took over. They were told to rat out their parents, and history stopped and was demolished, and a new history was starting. And this is what happened in 1984. George Orwell predicted it, as he predicted so much of what's happened since then. Every book has been rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street and building has been renamed. Every date has been altered. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. The party is always right. Now, a lot of people bought into the panic when it first started, and one of them was a guy named Matt Vespa. He's an internet columnist, I think, for Red State, and he wrote a funny piece today. The coronavirus lockdowns are over, and these studies really deliver a death blow. And I just like the way he wrote it. And it's kind of a mea culpa. You know, he's saying he was scammed. Some of you knew this was a crock from the get-go. After weeks of being told to stay inside, not be selfish, and prevent medical workers from being overrun, it was suddenly okay to go outside and riot and loot over the officer-involved death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. If these so-called experts could flip like that, then this virus was never a big deal from the start. We went from stay inside and save lives to, what are you doing inside? Go out and protest. Plus, now we find out almost half the deaths are from this virus are from nursing homes. I'm reborn hardcore. The Matt Vespa who supported the lockdowns was evil. He's dead. I'm done with the medical experts. If they didn't know, which is obviously the case, then say so. Don't lock us up, which gave Democrat governors and mayors the ability to arbitrarily enact draconian measures. This is nonsense. And with each passing day, more data shows that this virus is overblown. I couldn't care less about all the new cases the media is peddling in their panic porn addiction. It's over, clowns. Once the nationwide unrest, rioting, and protests were dying down, though, you knew the media was going to pivot and say we had to go back inside. Nope, we're not going back inside. It's become quite clear the medical class who excused the non-social distancing rioting over Floyd is more concerned with their progressive bias than actual advice. In short, the medical experts are now no better than the clowns we see daily on CNN and MSNBC bashing Trump. A team of economists from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology recently published the results of a study that compared various alternative strategies for limiting the spread of COVID-19. They concluded that twice as many lives could have been saved had governments focused their limited resources on protecting the most vulnerable people rather than squandering them on those who seem to face almost no risk, such as children. Are you listening, Taldeval? If you're diabetic, fighting cancer, had an organ transplant, or are over the age of 80, maybe you should stay inside. These lockdowns are more destructive than the virus itself, it would seem. Ignore CNN, ignore the panic porn. And maybe, just maybe, this outbreak wouldn't have been as horrific if people like New York Governor Andrew Cuomo didn't force nursing homes to admit COVID-positive patients. I would throw in Taldeval in that category, taking thousands, tens of thousands of dollars from nursing homes and letting his inept, corrupt Department of Health mismanage and not regulate the nursing homes, where 63% of the people who've died in Massachusetts perished. I haven't checked the numbers today, but yesterday 16 people died in Massachusetts, 14 of them in Taldeval's death houses. What does that tell you?
Did this just happen?
Yeah, just happened. I'm using your numbers. And yet there's still people out there who think that, people under the age of 50 are dropping like flies, and they're not. There's been, I think, one person under the age of 50 die in the last 3 or 4 days. 844-500-4242. Ray, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Ray.
Hi, Howie. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I got to tell you this. You got a heck of a police following. I'll tell you. I think you're on every radio and every police cruiser that I know about.
Oh, thank you. Oh, by the way, and incidentally, hold on, Ray. 2 suspects are now in custody at South Shore Plaza. 1 woman was shot, and they've got 2 perps. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
Oh, good. Well, I'm a retired police, and I just wanted to, somebody just faxed me this thing. It's very short, but it's a salute to the police, and I was hoping you'd just let me take a minute and a half and read it.
Well, make it less, make it under a minute. Keep it under a minute there, Ray.
Okay. It says, with a broken heart, I will explain this much to you. For the last few days, for the first time in my career, I've questioned my choice of being a police officer. But with pride, I can say I'd do it all over again. This badge. You hate me because I wear a badge. Let me tell you about the badge. This badge ran toward the towers and certain death at 9/11. This badge ran into the line of fire at the Pulse nightclub. This badge protected a BLM rally that led to 5 officers being killed in Dallas. This badge ran into Sandy Hook to stop a school shooter. This badge helps blind men and women cross the street because they're afraid to cross, they can't see. This badge has helped an injured dog off the road and rushed to a vet. This badge responds 24 hours a day to your needs, and regardless of whether or not you're black, white, Native American, or who you are, or what your sexual persuasion, no matter what, we will be there for you because we take pride in this badge.
Thank you, Ray. Well put. And I might add that they ran towards the South Shore Plaza tonight when there were reports of an active shooter inside. Thanks, Ray. Happy Independence Day. 781 says, so Howie, is it true that hospitals in Texas and Florida are overrun with new cases? They keep running clips from medical providers saying how they have to pick and choose who to work on. There is so many. You know, the thing in Texas, the problem in Texas is that they reopen the hospitals for so-called elective surgeries. And so suddenly 3 months worth of pent-up demand for surgeries is suddenly going into the hospital, and some of them are going to test positive. And you have much more testing going on. And the fact is that most of the people that are testing positive are young people. They're asymptomatic. They're not going to get sick. It's ridiculous. Let's. I'm going to read you another one here. This is another great column. This was in the Wall Street Journal yesterday by a guy named Joseph A. Ladapo, and he is he's an associate professor at the UCLA School of Medicine. And he's talking about how the politicians have and the medical quote unquote experts have squandered their credibility by politicizing this thing. I mean, that's the bottom line here. That this is being used to take down Trump and by political partisans who showed their political stripes by excusing the rioting after the George Floyd killing. Political leaders and health officials have often invoked science to justify decisions manifestly guided by their personal preferences. This costs them credibility. Restoring public confidence will require acknowledging their role in politicizing the pandemic. Again, are you listening, Tal Duvall? One of the earliest signs of politicization was the broad animus directed at protesters who objected to the lockdowns. It is remarkable how casually political leaders and health officials disparaged and banned their activities, and even targeted protesters for prosecution. Politics was also at play when New York Mayor Bill de Blasio ordered police in Brooklyn to break up a crowd of mourners who gathered for a Hasidic Jewish funeral. Same thing applies to Governor Phil Murphy in New Jersey, warning that their actions were unacceptable and threatening to arrest them. Contrast this with the approach that many of these same political leaders and public health experts took towards the protests catalyzed by George Floyd's killing. Those protesters were neither maligned nor targeted with fines and arrests based on social distancing or mask mandates. They were often joined in the streets by politicians such as L.A. Mayor Eric Garcetti and New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. And then he also points out that in a free society, you accept that many illnesses spread as a result of personal decisions and behavior. Think HIV, needle exchange programs, cigarettes, e-cigarettes, vaping. But this wisdom hasn't been afforded to the COVID-19 pandemic. There is little accommodation for people who avoid masks because of difficulty breathing, claustrophobia, or the belief that one's face shouldn't be subject to public policing. Some medical ethicists have suggested that if ventilators are in short supply, patients who religiously used masks and adhered to social distancing should receive priority, rationing medical care to punish noncompliance. Can you imagine if you did that during the AIDS epidemic? What would have happened? What would have been said about you? Further corroding public trust was health officials' reversals about wearing masks. In February, they discouraged their use and told people there was no evidence they were effective. Now they mandate them. No wonder many Americans no longer trust the calls to wear masks. If political leaders and health experts want to restore their credibility, they need to begin by acknowledging that politics, and I will add this, anti-Trump politics, basically, rather than science, has influenced important public health decisions. And while there's more to learn about immunity, there has not been a single confirmed case of reinfection among the 10 million cases of COVID-19 worldwide. Until data say otherwise, people who've recovered from COVID-19 should be exempt from restrictions. Risk will continue to be low among young people. Policing of social distancing and restrictions on personal, educational, and business activities of groups that are not at risk is fueling culture wars. Let them enter bars, enjoy the beach, exercise at the gym, and learn in school if they so choose. I'm glad to see that more and more people understand that if it wasn't at the beginning, it's now a crock, basically. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Radio Network.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Route 1 Grill House in Saugus, located just before the Cactus. From their steak tips and ribs, the Route 1 Grill House has it all. Open now 7 days a week for both outdoor and indoor dining.
Subaru Summer is going on now, and our retailers are making it easy for you to shop online from wherever you are. Using your cell phone, tablet, or laptop, go to SubaruofNewEngland.com. Enter your zip code to locate your Subaru retailer and contact to confirm participation. Now is the time to embrace the great outdoors, and there's no better way than behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru. Buckle up and begin your Subaru Summer at SubaruofNewEngland.com.
Alexander Hamilton said, "Those who stand for nothing will fall for anything." This is Toby from Cape Gunworks. When our founding fathers drafted the Second Amendment, there was no question of its meaning. Today, if you have questions, come to Cape Gunworks for some advice, training, or to send a few rounds downrange. We have a fully stocked pro shop with a huge selection of guns, crossbows, archery, classes, rentals, a 15-lane range, and a friendly staff. Come on down to Cape Gunworks, Airport Road, Hyannis, or capegunworks.com.
It's time for quarantine questions. You're up, Jared. What have you been eating the most during this quarantine?
I've been eating a lot of Indian food because that's all that's in the machine downstairs, and I'm really growing to like it.
What is your drink of choice during the lockdown?
My drink of choice, I'm definitely a Scotch guy. A nice Dewar's really does it for me.
What about a non-alcoholic drink?
Coffee.
What one TV show would you recommend to people who are quarantining right now?
One show? Star Trek The Next Generation. You can't go wrong. It's got everything you want. It's got high-concept science fiction. It's got humanity. It's got great characters. It's the last truly great television show.
What is the biggest pet peeve about being at home?
I can see all the dirt that I don't clean, and it mocks me.
What is the biggest silver lining of staying at home?
I'd say wearing sweatpants, but I do that most of the time anyway. I'll say wearing my Spider-Man costume and not being judged.
What's one book you're loving right now?
I'm a big comic book guy, so I'm reading a lot of comic books. Right now, I'm going back over the classic Stan Lee, Steve Ditko Amazing Spider-Man run, about the first 40 issues.
We all shop online, and now you could do it a better way with Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. Just download Honey to your computer and shop on all your favorite websites like normal. When you check out, just click the Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey works on nearly every online store, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, Etsy, and more. And Honey has found over $2 billion in savings for its users. That's why it has over 100,000 five-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. It's 100% free to use and installs in seconds. Plus, it's backed by PayPal, so you know it's secure and reliable. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. So get Honey for free today at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Out of all of your books, which is your favorite title and why?
I think my favorite title is Hitman because it's very effective. I thought long and hard about it. We're going to make it Boston Hitman, but then why make it Boston Hitman? Just make it Hitman. Make it a universal subject.
If you could have dinner with one author, dead or alive, who would it be?
I would probably have dinner with William Shakespeare. I know that's a cliche response, but he was the greatest writer in the English language, no question about it.
If you won Mega Millions, would you retire completely?
I used to say no, I would not retire, but yeah, I think I would retire now.
If you had to leave all of your money to one charity, which would it be?
The Salvation Army. I like what the Salvation Army does. I don't think they have too many highly paid executives trying to be social justice warriors.
This is Jeff in Woodstock, Connecticut.
This is Laura Benner in South Burlington, Vermont.
This is Jimmy Mack in Falmouth, Massachusetts, and this is The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. Order your VIP tickets to the Howie Carr Show. Everybody seems to have a real good time. The price has been cut. Go to HowieCarrShow.com, click on store. We have 6 seats, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the next 8 weeks, and a lot of them have already been sold, so get on board now before we run out. We're going to read you a couple more things here. I just want to get this stuff done before the weekend about as you go about, you can't go to a parade, no fireworks or no official fireworks or fewer. Nothing on the Esplanade, no flyovers, no baseball, no hoop on municipal playgrounds. It's ridiculous. This is Scott Moorfield in Town Hall. I'll get to a couple of calls before we finish. We've obviously run the gamut on the universal masking issue, from being told not to wear them at all when the pandemic was at its peak and everybody and their neighbor were crowding and swapping moisture particles in Lowe's and Walmart aisles, to the now almost cult-like lock-stop message from politicians, the media, and every other leftist still too frightened to come out of their basement. It's all a farce, of course, absurd theater forced upon us by people who probably believed in witches a few centuries ago. They think if they condescendingly say the words, I wear the mask to protect you and you wear the mask to protect me enough, everyone will mindlessly obey. Even with deaths declining, they keep the pot stirred up with their panic porn about spikes and surges in new cases and hospitalizations in southern and western states. Never mind the fact that the so-called surge in hospitalizations in Texas turned out to be, as Fox medical correspondent Dr. Mark Siegel noted, mostly people getting elective surgeries that had long been delayed due to coronavirus. Had we properly protected those in nursing homes, this means you, Charlie Baker, we could have saved half the people that actually died from this thing. So let us out. What's the alternative? Living with this virus on the prowl for years, even decades, masks forever, endless rotating shutdowns, the end of mass gatherings in sports, and if Democrats win, God forbid, an ever-encroaching police state hell-bent on using this virus, like Charlie Parker does, to torment us and our liberties until their Bolshevik dreams become reality. Fred, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Fred.
Hey, Howie, I've got a couple of headlines I predict we'll see in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
I will hear them. How about this one? Even though the death count is down, COVID can still be a dangerous disease.
We've already seen that one, Fred. That's what Fauci says every time he comes out of the bunker. And then he as soon as the cameras turn off, as soon as the red light goes off, he takes off his mask. That's how concerned he is, right?
Oh, I guess you're right. How about another one I think we'll see in the paper? Masks can be important to prevent many types of diseases.
Oh, yes, that's a good one. I haven't seen that one yet, Fred, but you're ahead of the curve on that one, certainly. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I got one more for you. You know, we still might have another wave. It's possible.
Yeah. Trump could be reelected, in which case we'll need a permanent new wave to destroy the economy and keep everybody on edge and up in arms. One woman shot at the South Shore Plaza, 2 suspects in custody. The emergency is over. Happy Independence Day, everybody. I'm Howie Carr. The last few months have been stressful for many, and it's time to do something for yourself. Recently, Grace reminded me of when I had that bad haircut 4 years ago. It was actually more like a buzz cut. Although it wasn't planned, I'm incredibly grateful to DiStefano Hair Restoration. Everyone was able to see that my hair could really grow back. I was annoyed when I couldn't get a haircut because of the shutdown, but I am happy that I at least have hair to cut once more. You can have the hair you've been thinking about for all these years. Dr. Highness did a great job for me, and he will for you too. To learn more, go to hairman.com. You may have more time on your hands now, so take advantage of it and get the hair you've been wanting for years. People always stop me and say, it looks so natural. DiStefano Hair Restoration has 5 locations in New England and is open for business. For more information on location openings, go to hairman.com. Get the hair you've always wanted.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who was your favorite actor?
Humphrey Bogart, no doubt about it. I love all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. Jimmy Cagney would be a close second.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
No celebrity crushes.
Ginger or Marianne?
I always was a Marianne person. Never was bowled over by that Hollywood look. Plus, Ginger was in more revealing attire, scantily clad.
Salty or sweet?
Neither, but if I have to pick, I'll go with sweet.
Movies or TV?
TV.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, although I'd prefer Five Guys.
Facebook or Twitter?
Definitely Twitter. I hate Facebook.
Cake or pie?
I'm a cake guy.
Coke or Pepsi?
Diet Coke.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, obviously.
Winter or summer?
Summer. Good Lord. Why would you want winter? It's cold and it's dark.
President Trump's life has changed a lot in the last couple of years, but one thing that remains consistent, his love for a good nickname.
What happened to Mini Mike? Where's he? Mini Mike, I've had him up to here. Sleepy Joe has no idea what he's even talking. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Sleepy Joe, get off the stage, please. I don't think the guy's got a chance. Sleepy Joe, I don't think he's got it.
I don't know. I think Sleepy Joe may be able to limp across the finish line.
Crying Chuck. I don't want to say Crazy Nancy because if I say that, you're going to say it's a copy of Crazy Bernie, and that's no good. Who that judge? Alfred E. Newman.
You know, I thought Pocahontas was gone, left in embers. I should have saved the Pocahontas thing for another year. Did you ever hear Pocahontas? It's Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren.
Little pencil neck Adam Schiff. Got the smallest, thinnest neck I've ever seen. But Nancy Pelosi, I call her Nervous Nancy. Crooked Hillary.
Crooked Hillary Clinton.
Bill Clinton said to Crooked Hillary. Crooked Hillary, do you think he calls her Crooked Hillary, Mike?
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Hey, it's Brendan from Cape Gunworks. Are you looking for a new firearm or maybe some range time? Then come on down to Cape Gunworks in Hyannis. We have a brand new 20,000 square foot facility with a huge pro shop with hundreds of modern firearms and accessories. Plus, we buy and sell unique and collectible guns. If you're looking for range time, we've got 15 brand new state-of-the-art lanes open to the public. Don't have a firearm? Don't worry. We've got plenty of pistol and rifles for you to rent. Exercise your Second Amendment rights at Cape Gunworks in Hyannis and at capegunworks.com.
It's a common phrase, better safe than sorry. Of course, sometimes you need an actual safe to be safe, and you'll find the best at Dependable Lock Service in Nashua and Liberty Safe of New Hampshire in Northampton. Both locations carry Liberty Safes, and you'll be safe when you keep your guns and other valuables in the safe made with the best materials and craftsmanship here in the USA. Visit your Liberty Safe dealer located in Nashua or Northampton, New Hampshire, or online at libertysafenewhampshire.com to find the right safe for you.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Howie Carr here. Have you looked in the mirror lately? When you see your smile, what do you think? If you're like most people, you probably wish you had whiter teeth or teeth that weren't crooked. And then you think fixing those problems will take years and will cost you more than you can afford and will likely be painful. Well, I've got good news for you. You can have a perfect smile in as few as just 3 visits to Dr. Houghton at Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. Using state-of-the-art cosmetic dentistry, Dr. Houghton will work with